have a story for you about extremism, a massive tech company and a designated terrorist entity that, if it were a movie, people might think is a little bit too ridiculous. But this is real life. So with help from this story by Luke Lebrun of Press Progress, which someone you know was interviewed for, here is what's going on. So I'm sure most of you guys have heard of Shopify, the third largest publicly traded company in Canada. But what you might not know is its number 2 guy, COO Kaz Najadian, also launched a right-wing Canadian media website, True North Center. His wife, Candice Malcolm, is the editor-in-chief, and according to these documents I obtained, Kaz has been on its board of directors for years, which means despite Malcolm's claim that he's only there as a placeholder and has no involvement in the operations of True North, he has legal duties to be responsible for the operations and administration of the charity. At this point, you might be like, okay, but why do we really care? Let me tell you. This website has a history of posting some iffy stuff and hiring some questionable folks, like this guy who used to work for a website that promoted racists, and this guy Harrison Faulkner, whose ties to extremism I've previously reported on. In fact, Faulkner and True North recently posted, and when Luke asked True North about it, deleted an interview with the founder of the Proud Boys, a designated terrorist entity in Canada. And if this screen grab is any indication, it wasn't exactly what I'd call hard-hitting.
There's some guy with a long beard and he's got the long tunic. And I go, is anyone in this city not a terrorist? And I could make an offensive joke like that because he doesn't speak English.
Right, yeah, he wouldn't even
So he's
notice
not like, hey, watch it, buddy.
Now, one thing that's interesting in the context of all of this is that I've reported over the years on Shopify's platform being used by anti-LGBTQ groups, hard-right media outlets and influencers, and Nazi memorabilia vendors. But when I reached out to Shopify about all of this, they continued to provide services to all of these vendors. To bring all of this together, I don't know what role, if any, the Shopify executive who launched True North has here. But as I told Luke, I do wonder if his ideology is accurately reflected by True North's so-called reporting, and he even puts a finger on the scale at Shopify. Could that help explain the disconnect between Shopify's policies and how they're enforced? You tell me. What do you think of all this?